Before I knew that I wanted to create this YouTube channel, I knew that I wanted to make this video in some capacity, whether it was just a one-off that I put on my old YouTube channel, which is still active. You can't find it. I have intentionally made those videos private because, well, that was back when I wasn't super experienced in this whole YouTube thing. Maybe one day I'll put them on here just for fun and look back on some of the reviews that I did. But this is a video that has kind of been in the back of my mind. And when I finally decided to make this channel, I knew that I wanted to create this video. So what I'm going to be talking about here today, and I do have some notes off here to my right, so if you see me glancing over, it is just to keep me on track, because I didn't really plan this video. I just have some bullet point things here that I want to mention specifically, because I wanted this to be a very laid back, casual video, because this is something that is really important to me. Obviously, this is what inspires me and what made me want to be a filmmaker and what continues to motivate me to pursue that career, knowing the challenges that stand in my way. So, obviously, I have quite a bit I want to talk about here. I have everything listed out, and there are about 8 bullet points, and I will go through each one of them here. And hopefully, there's something you can take away from this video, whether it's motivation or inspiration. I hope that you can take something from this video. First up, obviously, I'm going to get the most basic ones out of the way. What motivates me and inspires me is my love for movies. And when I was a kid, the movie that inspired me the most was Jaws. And if you watched my introduction video, I briefly touched on the fact that it wasn't the big shark that was on screen and terrorizing this city. It was these 3 characters here, along with the supporting cast. I was just so fascinated at the stories and the different characters involved. I was engrossed in this film, and I was just 8 years old. So when kids my age were watching the movie, they were, enamored with the shark and the gruesome kills that are displayed on screen from time to time. But my takeaway from the film was the characters, particularly our 3 leads that you can see here. I watched that movie so many times as a kid, and I still watch it about once or twice a year just because it really showed me, the capabilities of movies. Up until that point in my life, I had really been watching, just your standard run-of-the-mill kids movies. And then I finally was shown Jaws, rented the DVD from Blockbuster Video, and I will never forget the evening that I watched that movie. It made a lasting impact and really pushed me into the world of film. Another big thing for me is having nostalgia for certain films. You could say that Jaws is a movie that was impactful for my love for films, but it does also hold a special place in my heart because it really got me into the horror genre, which is a genre that I love so much for so many different reasons. The 1980s Poltergeist film is another one that I have nostalgia for because that was another one that showed me what the horror genre can be. Obviously, the genre looks a little bit different today, but Poltergeist was one that impressed me when I was just about 8 or 9 years old. Another one, La La Land. I have nostalgia for that movie. The Shining, The Exorcist. There are so many movies that when I was young, obviously I wasn't young when I watched La La Land, but I was young when I watched The Exorcist for the first time. Maybe too young, but I wanted to watch that movie. In The Shining as well. I think I was 10 when I watched The Shining for the first time, and it was very similar to Jaws, where it wasn't the it wasn't the naked lady in the bathroom or the the horrific imagery of everything that goes on throughout that movie. It was the characters in that isolation and the the way that that movie progresses and the slow burn of it all was what really impressed me for that movie. So nostalgia is something that really powers my love for movies. Another bit is constantly learning about the cinematic art form. I, as I also mentioned in my introductory video, went to film school for 1 year and decided that it just wasn't for me. Now, up until then, I had been watching movies and really teaching myself about making movies and visual storytelling. And then I learned so much more in film school. But when I decided to drop out, I knew that I needed to teach myself a lot. So, what I would do is I would use obviously the best resource that we have for teaching yourself things, the internet and books. And, well, I mean, honestly, watching movies. You can take all of these things that you learn through books or through articles or YouTube videos and then apply them as you watch a movie. What I did is I would take new things that I learned and watch a movie that I've seen a lot. And to really, because you know it so well. So I would take these new elements to me and look for them in whatever film I was watching. And that helped me greatly. Another thing is discovering new films. That has been so exciting. I have a watch list of about 1,700 films. So I have a lot more to discover, but every once in a while I'll find a film that really just blows me away. Most recently, I watched Paris, Texas for the first time, which, if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It is fantastic. And I remember just being glued to my seat and just being blown away by that film. So, discovering new films really allows me to see even more of what this art form can be. It's never just one movie. You're constantly finding these things that push you deeper into cinema and cinema history. It's amazing. Just another big one is making movies myself. That is one of the most important things. You can watch movies all day and you can learn about them all day, but when you get your hands on a camera and lights and audio equipment and you come up with a story, whether it's a short film or a feature film, you know a lot about films, but then when it comes to making one and actually going through the motions and the storytelling process and crafting each scene and shot, you learn so much more. And honestly, when I was making my first feature, the first day, everything that I had learned was completely out the window. I mean, I forgot so much and learned so much. It was exhilarating. Yes, it was stressful and nerve wracking, and I was so terrified that everybody involved on this film would just never want to work with me again. They would want to quit that day. But, through it all, I just remembered why I was there, and I was able to get a level head and keep pushing forward, and I learned so much on that set, and it's the best experience of my life is making movies, and that's when I'm at my happiest, is when I'm on a set collaborating with people. And so it's using that feeling to push me forward as I craft a new short film or feature film. It's remembering that through all of the writer's block and through all of the questioning if I can do this, it's reminding myself of that feeling of being on a set and creating something for people to watch. It's truly special. Another big element is the movie going experience. I mean, this kind of goes without saying, but watching a movie in a packed theater is truly special. Last week, I went to the theater to go watch the new Speak No Evil, the 2024 remake of the 2022 Danish film, and the theater was packed. It was a Thursday night at like 8:30, and my God, that audience was having a blast with the film throughout the entire thing. Through the third act, they were laughing, There were gasps. It was so special to be in a theater to watch a film with an audience reacting. Earlier this year, obviously, we had this little film, Dune 2, which I will never forget watching this for the first time. I have a lot of memorable movie going experiences, but watching Dune 2 and the craftsmanship that was on display from every aspect of filmmaking and in IMAX, it was jaw dropping. I was thrown back in my seat with the sound design, the visual spectacle, the storytelling, the characters. It was something that it's one of the best theater going experiences I think I've ever had. I've been to a lot of theaters, a lot of movies, but Dune 2 is one that I will always remember. So yeah, watching movies with an audience is something that really pushes me to want to make a movie, because I would love for an audience to be in a theater and watching something that I've made and having reactions like they did with Speak No Evil or Dune 2, where, towards the end something happens and in a packed IMAX theater there were gasps and, just a feeling of shock as, a little bit of a surprise happens towards the end of that film. It's truly special. And I think I'm almost at my happiest when I'm either making a movie or in a movie theater watching a movie. It is truly special. If you love film, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's hard to explain, but those of us that love going to a theater know that feeling of sitting in a theater and watching a movie on the big screen. There's nothing like it at all. Another thing that has really motivated me and inspired me is working at a movie theater. I have done it in my life. I've worked at two different theaters, and especially when I was in high school, that was my high school job all throughout school, was working at a movie theater. I would spend my evenings there after school. I would spend my weekends there. And if I wasn't working or in school, I was probably there watching a movie. Having the free movies, working at a theater, if you've worked at one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. For film fans, it is paradise. But seeing people come in and being excited for a movie and, you know, cleaning up after the movie and listening to the score or seeing the tail end of a movie as you prepare to clean the theater, you're surrounded by movies, and people going to movies and hearing movies playing through the hallways. It's so fun. It's such a fun environment, and going to work and just being surrounded by people going to movies and talking about movies, it it really made me, again, kind of like going to a movie. It made me want to create something for people to go in, buy a popcorn, sit down and watch something that I have made. That would bring me the most joy, is working my butt off to create something that people can sit down and they're excited to watch a film that I have made. This one might sound a little cheesy, but it's something that we all do. We all visualize our future in whatever it is that we want to do. You can picture yourself doing that specific thing. And visualizing my future as a filmmaker is very motivating, and it makes you want to work hard. There are just days where I just don't want to write because I just don't think I have it in me. But then I visualize where I want to be, and it clears all of those worries away, fills me with excitement, and reminds me why I want to be a filmmaker and why I work so hard at becoming a filmmaker and learning the craft and getting better with each script that I write or each film that I make. So visualizing your future is very important at getting the tangibilization of that goal that you have. I remember my year in film school visualizing myself as a filmmaker, and a few years later I made a film, and it was just reminding yourself of what it is you want to do, visualizing yourself doing it, and taking the steps to get to that picture that you can see in your mind. Another thing that I do consistently almost every week is I write down my goals and I put them on my phone. I have a notebook with my goals. I have a calendar, a whiteboard that I write down my goals for the month, for the year, for the week, even sometimes for the day. That way I can make sure I am still consistently taking steps and working towards that goal. And there's no greater satisfaction than being able to cross one of those off on my year bucket list for 2023 was making a movie. And it got towards the end of the year, and I was like, I don't think this is going to happen. And I thought I was going to move it over into 2024. And I did it. Towards the end of the year, when I thought all hope was lost, I kept trying and I kept pushing, and we got it done. Now, there are still obstacles that have come with that and still work that needs to be done, but we did the bulk of it, and I got to cross that off. And staring at that goal every single day of making a feature film, it pushed me. It made me work. Yes, you are going to doubt yourself, and that's okay. Because through the doubt and through all of that second guessing becomes a real special type of motivation to continue to work and continue to just work towards that end goal. And when you reach it, it's so special. Another, and maybe one of the biggest things, is staying focused on the end result while life takes you in different directions. I don't have the luxury of waking up every day and writing scripts or making movies. I have a day job, and while I love what I do for my day job, it's not what I want to do in life. And it's knowing that, we don't all have the luxury of doing what we want for a living right away. You have to go on these sort of side quests and do things that aren't exactly connected to what it is you want to do in life. But you got to make money somehow. You got to have money. For me, I have to have money to fund movies and to get new equipment. And so it's making peace and telling yourself that it's okay to go away from what it is that you want to do for a little bit for work. But tell yourself that it's not forever. It's just temporary. And that makes waking up in the morning and going to the day job seem okay. It seems less scary, and it motivates me. It's like, I know this isn't temporary, or I know this isn't forever, and I do my best, and then when I'm off, I'm working on these videos here, or I'm writing, or I'm planning my next shoot. And then I go into work, and I do it with a smile on my face, because I know that at the end of the day, I can come back and I can use this channel as an outlet for talking about movies. I can write those scripts. On my days off, I can do a short film or chip away at a feature film. And like I said, it just makes everything okay. And it makes everything feel less daunting. So if you are kind of in that same situation where maybe you are straying from what it is you want to do and you think that this is it, this is forever. You're not going to get to do what it is you want to do, and you want to give up on that goal. I've had that feeling many times where, I get into the mindset of, well, this is it. This is my life now. And I think that I'm never going to be a filmmaker. But it's telling yourself that it's okay. It's temporary. And then it just kind of brings everything to a calm state. I guess that's the way to put it. You go to work, you enjoy your job, and it motivates you to work even harder when you're not at that day job. So I know this wasn't the most focused video. I know this was kind of laid back and not as refined as my previous videos, but that was kind of the goal here. Is I just wanted to turn on the camera, hit record, and really just talk about why I started this channel and what motivates me and inspires me on a day-to-day basis. And being a filmmaker, I know the odds, and that is not something that scares me. It's something that excites me. I like when the odds are against me, and you really, really have to put in the work and have that passion and that commitment to the craft. So that's that. This is what inspires me and what motivates me. So I hope you took something from this video. I know it was just me rambling for quite a while, but again, I really hope that there is something that you can take away from this video into your own life and work towards that goal that you have. So, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.